Anna, join me on the Glenn Lall Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Glenn Lall Show, only on Kite Show Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
It is 19 hours 21 in Guyana, right across the Eastern Caribbean. It is the 21st day of September. And of course, you're listening to us on the radio with a difference on 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Glenn Lall Show, where we tell it as it is. This evening, well, I was looking around in studio to see where the man of the moment is, and checked, he's not there. Made to understand that he's in the National Stadium. Could you believe that? He's at the National Stadium supporting which team? You guess. You could put in the comment which team you think he's supporting. So I had no choice but to bring to you a rebroadcast. And on Friday, he has some explanation to do as to why he didn't inform anyone that he was going anywhere. But little birdie told me that he's in the stadium repping the team that he himself will tell you on Friday. With that said, I will bring to you a rebroadcast of a program everyone would have called and send their message to say they enjoyed, which is last Monday's edition. We bring to you back that rebroadcast of that show. We hope you pay keen attention. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to message us on 622-2222 or 624-6456. That's his number. Well, don't message him. He's at the cricket. But you can message us on 622-2222. And, of course, we will respond to you on Friday in the Friday program if you have any questions. With that said, it is time for that rebroadcast titled "The Jagdeo was untruthful to all the questions put to him on the Glenn Lall Show. Listen for yourself."
Begin, Joshua. Yesterday, I went to Lenora to have a glass of wine. And while some people applauded me for my bravery and bold stance in exposing and educating them on what is happening in this country, there are some others who said, "Why are you so rude and disrespectful to both Mr. Jagdeo and Mr. Norton, Glenn?" Yeah. I thank those for their compliments, and I told the others that I don't dislike Mr. Jagdeo or Mr. Norton. I just totally dislike what they're doing to all of us and what they're not doing that could mean betterment for the present and future generations of this country. That's what I dislike. If speaking on the radio and writing in the newspapers about the mistakes and cover-ups that are happening with our future is considered rude and disrespectful, then, guys, so be it. What else can I do, or what else can I say? This morning, looking at the news for the first time, I heard Nelson Mandela was the only citizen on earth that greeted the Queen of England as, "How are you, Elizabeth?" Hear that, Bernard? This morning I learned that. "How are you, Elizabeth?" You can Google it and see it. He has never addressed her as Queen Elizabeth or Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Was that rude, Uncle? Was that disrespectful, Auntie? Or Nelson Mandela being Mandela, being himself? Right? Glenn Lall can only be Glenn Lall. I can't be no one else. Or what anybody else want me to be. I got to be Glenn Lall. I am only Glenn Lall. In my school days, I used to fight with my teachers. And when I didn't get what I considered to be fair and just, I would wait for them when they're riding home and pelt them with coconuts just to get my satisfaction. and face the consequences the next day. Was I rude? Was I disrespectful? You decide. I can only tell you that Glenn Lall can only be Glenn Lall. They don't have any other Glenn Lall on earth. Look where God Almighty has placed me. In the news business. 28 years now. He wants me to do what I am doing. And I pray and ask Him daily to help me do it the way He wants me to do it. I prefer to offend uncle and auntie, earthly men and women, than to offend God Almighty. And that's, in a nutshell, what Glenn Lall is. With that, now let me say namaste to all of you. And God bless you guys for listening to this guy. Sometimes, according to Jagdeo, he is lie. Jagdeo, not Glenn Lall. So let's begin tonight's program, Bernard. On many programs, I have said I love today's technology. Every action and reaction gives or tells a story. Your words, your tone of voice, your body language, your attitude tells a story. There is no way you can hide, no way you can duck or run when technology records you. From your words to your actions, there is no room for crookishness and scampish games with today's technology, uncle. There's no room for scampish games in which you can fool people and get away with it. Not today, man. Not today. A few years back, yes, but not today. Crooked and deceitful people only get away for a time before their actions are revealed by this modern day technology we have. Yes. Yes. We will all live and see, God willing, what will become of Donald Trump with his lies, deceit, and criminal attitude. There are dozens of investigations going on in the United States that involve this former president, in which he denies everything. Despite him being recorded by today's modern day technology. Just what Donald Trump did and is trying to defend in the United States of America today is the same thing happening here in Guyana. Everything these politicians do, everything they say, they try to defend and also attack those who expose them. Just like what Donald Trump is doing in America, man. Attacking everyone, left, right, and center.
Including the president.
Yes, including the president, Joe Biden. Our oil is the talk of the world. It's on the lips of every world leader. Every one of them wants a bite of it. The world financial institutions has been boasting how rich Guyana is. They're saying we are the fastest growing economy on planet Earth today. Man, the amount of times I hear these people talk this thing, including Jagdeo. By now, all of us should have already been living the life of kings and queens in Guyana. Our country should have already been shaping up to look like Dubai or Singapore, with all this wealth these people we have and what these people talking about Guyana. But would we be ever be able to be like Trinidad, uncle? Much as Dubai or Singapore with these politicians. Bernard, what do you think?
Hell no.
Imagine for a moment that your parents enter into an agreement with a known crook to pick your awara, your mango, coconut, or banana from the family farm. And when the children, Bernard, when the children ask the parents, 6 years after this business going on, what they're getting out of the deal, what they're getting out of the deal, the parents telling the children that they have to go ask the lawyer. Parents have to check with the lawyer to find out what they are getting in the business before they can answer their children. Bernard, those parents for real?
Ridiculous.
Who doesn't or who wouldn't know what you're getting out of your own assets on a daily basis, man? Who? Huh? Can you think of anyone who has to check with their lawyers to find out what they are getting from a business with their own assets, brother? Eh? Wait, man. Are we dealing with idiots, donkeys, or lunatics for parents? Huh? Well, uncle and auntie, that in a nutshell is what's happening in this oil sector between Guyana and ExxonMobil. I am telling you from now to listen carefully, because I will be going through step by step. You listen to me? Carefully, uncle and auntie. Listen carefully, step by step. I'll be making it simple and clear as to what and how the politicians of this country is securing all of our future. Let's get going. In June of this year, did I say June? In June of this year, at a press conference, my reporter, a young lady named Kiana Wilberg, asked Vice President Jagdeo a very simple question. I will play that tape for you guys to listen. Could you play that first tape for me, sir? Go ahead.
Also on the audit, sir, several countries have encountered issues when it comes to not specifically outlining what is not cost recoverable. Do you know if because in our PSA, the staff law, there's nothing there that says royalty is not recoverable. Do you have any guarantee that this is not going to be recovered? Or are you awaiting the audit to ascertain if that is?
Yes, the thing is that the lawyers have to do that. I don't want to venture public positions that I may have to walk back at some point in time, so I should be a bit more cautious on this. Because on other matters, we've had some contention at the GRA.
See why I keep on saying you have to love today's technology? Uncle? Yeah. From their tone of voice, you can pick up whether they are lying, telling the truth, or playing games with us. If you're watching them on your computer or TV, you can see their facial expression and conclude if they are being truthful or deceitful. And that's the beauty of today's technology, Uncle. I am smiling here. And lots of people tell me I have a beautiful smile. Thank you. I love today's technology. You can hear in my voice how I love it. You can even see the smile on my face, how I adore today's technology. My reporter told Jagdeo that several countries had encountered problems not outlining what is recoverable and what is not to be recovered as oil companies' expenses. She then went on to tell him there is nothing in the contract that says royalties cannot be recovered. She was very clear. Do you know, sir, if the 2% royalties we're getting from Exxon, they're taking it back? Man, what question can be more simple than that? Huh? Huh? Nothing in writing that stops them from taking back the 2% royalty. Do you know if they are taking it back, sir? That's what the girl asking. You don't got nothing in writing. Do you know if the people taking it back?
Is it yes or no?
And this is the answer he gave. Could you play back the answer? Let them hear the answer, man.
Yes. The thing is that the lawyers have to do that. I don't want to venture public positions that I may have to walk back at some point in time. So I should be a bit more cautious on this. Because on other matters, we've had some contention at the GRA.
Hey, you have to love Bara Jagdeo, eh? You gotta love this man. Yes. He said yes. The thing is that we, the lawyers, have to do that. I don't want to venture public positions that I may have to walk back at some point in time. So, I should be a bit more cautious on this. Because no other matters we had some contention at GRA. His words. You hear how he stutter? This is the man that will take Guyana to the mountain top. Yes, take us, give us a bright future. Oh, really? Oh, really? This is a man that would make you rich and comfortable with this massive oil wealth the world is talking about. Really? Really, uncle? The only thing that Guyana is getting out of this oil, that dirty, stinking 2% royalty, this ex-president and vice president who was put in charge of our future telling Guyana that the lawyers have to answer that. Really? Really? The most simplest of questions. It is so simple that any leader should know it, like the back of their hands or even in their sleep. That answer should be at his fingertip and flowing from his lips when asked. Man, come on. How can you not know something so simple, Bernard? Eh? Whether ExxonMobil thieving back the 2% them giving us as royalty, man. How come? Uncle? Nah, man. No. No. Come on. Don't tell me this. Apart from that so-called 50-50 profit sharing arrangement, them said I'm sharing with we, uncle. Oh my God. After taking out 75% of every barrel first? Come on, man. Other than that, uncle, that royalty is the only money we getting out of this oil-rich nation. And our ex-president telling this nation that the lawyers have to answer that question. Father above, help this nation quickly, please. Please, I beg you. Is this the man that cost down the PNC for signing that lopsided Exxon contract? Can't tell us if Exxon taking back the 2-barrel oil them giving us? Nah, man. Nah. Not an ex-president who run this country for 10 years. No, man. No, Joshua. A freaking blind, dumb and deaf child a drunkard, an idiot, someone without a single day of schooling would know such an answer from the top of his head. But our Vice President Jagdeo, our world-class business financial guru, don't know it and has to ask his lawyers. Am I being rude and disrespectful sharing this information, Josh?
No, sir. All the time.
To those who said Glenn Lall is rude and disrespectful, am I? Who doesn't know, uncle? Who wouldn't know, auntie, whether a man you're doing business with can or cannot take back the 2 mango you get as your share? Help me, please. Help me. Because that is what our Vice President Jagdeo telling this nation there. Yes. He doesn't know. Really? And on top of that, he's saying to us that he doesn't want to venture public position that he may have to walk back on. Bernard? What public position that is, brother? What public position that is, Mr. Jagdeo? What kind of wishy-washy answer that is? Why the ducking and dodging on something so important yet simple? What is public about that, auntie? Jagdeo is heading the oil sector and saying to us, the people of this country, that the 2% is a public matter. Oh, really? I have seen for myself what Africa, the few countries I visited, has become because of their corrupt, incompetent, and dotish leaders. But what I'm seeing here in Guyana, uncle, is far more than that. This is beyond one's imagination. An ex-president can say, cannot say, or can't say if exam taking back the 2 mango them giving Guyana with the left hand and taking it back with the right hand. Really? Is that an answer? Is this the man y'all throwing mal around his neck like a god or a demigod? Not with a capital G though. Oh my. Then he said he should be a bit cautious about this. What is there to be cautious about? Cautious about telling us if exam thief him back the 2 mango we getting, bro? Really? Is this the man y'all discuss me for? But I see on Facebook they tell me people is discussing me on Facebook. Okay. Is this the man that would make Guyana into a first world country, Bernard? And doesn't know if the people taking back the 2 mango they're giving us? Really? Who have to ask lawyers if exam thief him back the thing, man? Huh? Uncle? He said he don't want to venture into something that they may have to walk back on. Y'all understand what that man in charge of our aisle just said, man? He doesn't want to walk forward in case he got to walk back. So he's at a standstill. Just like a statue. On a simple question like that. Auntie, when I heard his answer at that press conference, I was there. And when I heard his answer, Bernard, I was lost for words. I had to make sure that I get it right, what he said. So I did a follow-up and asked him back what he said. This was my question, And this was his answer he gave to me. Could you play back my question, please? Play. Royalties. Royalties. I heard you talked about the royalty when Kiana asked if it's recoverable. And I didn't hear you very good.
Yeah, but that's why I gave an explanation. I don't want, I have not looked at this matter carefully, so I don't want to give a venture. That's the last thing I do, venture.
That's the most important thing. That's what
Right.
this country
Right.
depends on.
I'll look at it. I'll give you an answer.
That was a follow-up question I asked him. I placed your pit and I said, buddy, this is what this country depends on. And that's what he said. He said, but that's why I give an explanation. I don't want, I have not looked at this matter carefully. So I don't want to give a venture. That's the last thing I do. Give a venture. Then I told him, uncle, that is the most important thing this country depends on. And he replied, I will look at it. I will look at it. I will give you an answer. Uncle, 6 years now, this contract signed. And I hope you guys following me step by step, 6 years now, this contract signed. 3 years we pumping oil. 2 years Jagdeo heading this sector and cannot be straight in telling this nation where the Exxon is thieving back the 2 mango we get in. Several days passed and they did not put out a statement answering that question. Please follow me carefully as I go step by step. 1 week after that press conference, Bharat Jagdeo held another press conference. And he knew that he would have been asked again that question. He was very smart. He didn't wait for myself or Kiana Wilberg to ask that question again. He jumped in front the line and volunteered his answer to that question, uncle. Yes, the second press conference, wait. He jumped in line. Uncle and auntie, please listen to his response and tell me what you understand. Please play it.
And now I can answer definitively because I've spoken to the GRA on the tax side. So because the royalty is not cost deductible, but it is GRA based on our laws, are GRA tax deductible, but they don't come out of the cost bank. So the contractor has to pay from its share the 2% royalty to the government. So the contractor ends up with 10.5% of gross revenue, and the government ends up with 14.5% of gross revenue. That is how it is.
What? I don't know who you pray to, uncle and auntie. Whether Bhagwan, Allah, or Jehovah. Please ask him for help, because Glenn Lall can't help with that confounded, complicated, and convoluted nonsense he gave to a simple, straightforward question. I believe if you ask him back to interpret what he just said there, he would be confused himself. This is the length, uncle, to which our Vice President Jagdeo would go to kerfuffle our heads. God help us, please. I beg you, help us and help this nation. This is a man who weaving a web and trying to wiggle his way like a spider out of a scheme he wants to run with our oil money. But by doing so, he's tangling up his tongue and mixing up his head, kerfuffling himself with words and phrases that he himself don't understand. You see him, Uncle? You heard him, Auntie? This is the con game, the secrecy, the cobwebs, and sellout we have on our hands today. After a whole week, he and his lawyers can't come straight, can't come clean, cannot come truthful to this nation whether ExxonMobil thieving back that 2% they're giving us or not. What else can I say to you people, Uncle? Am I still coming over rude and disrespectful? If I am sincerely apologizing to all of you. But I have to do what I have to do. How much more respectful can I present this to all of you, what Jagdeo is doing to you and your children? What he's doing to our future and the future of generations to come. Huh? You know, you said play him back, Bernard?
Yes.
I want to play him back. And remember, this is the answer he came back with at the second press conference a week later, in which he said he has definitively spoken with GRA. Play him back, man.
And now I can answer definitively because I've spoken to the GRA on the tax side. So because the royalty is not cost deductible, but it is GRA based on our laws, a GRA tax deductible, but not, they don't come out of the cost bank. So the contractor has to pay from its share the 2% royalty to the government. So the contractor ends up with 10.5% of gross revenue, and the government ends up with 14.5% of gross revenue. That is how it is.
How? What else can I do? How much more clear can I get on this, Uncle? Nobody asked him what Exxon getting or what they are not getting. All we are asking is if the stinking 2% we getting, Guyana getting, Exxon thieving it back. And this man can't give us a straight answer. Then how can we know from him what Exxon is doing to us with our 50-50 profit sharing? May I ask you, Bernard?
That's a very tough question.
I am afraid, very much afraid, to even ask him that question. But I know the answer. And I know God Almighty will help us. I have faith in him. And many of you have faith in him too. Yes. The UK anthem is God Save the Queen, which has to change now to God Save the King. Y'all better fabricate a song or anthem that says, God save Guyana from these politicians, especially Jagdeo. And I am serious. There's nothing to laugh about there. What has he done for the last 2 years? How many press conferences he has held? And how long he would have talked about oil? 1 and 2 minutes only. As for the other resources, the gold, diamond, and bauxite, You have seen his response when I asked him on my show the other night about the mining contracts he and his government signed. Oh, after those two press conferences, Uncle and Auntie, the last pieces of his madness fell into place. Yes. It fell into place during the interview he had with me last week, Tuesday. I raised the question of royalty for the third time with him. Let's hear some more of his magic, what he said on this 2% royalty. Could you please play him? I want to ask you some direct questions related to the answer you just gave there. What rate of royalty you believe would have been fair to the Guyanese people?
Well, for me, really, I don't want to be premature tonight. I've said publicly that we have to issue new contracts, new PSA. We're working on a model PSA. The last press
May I just stop you, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Not the new model. I am asking a question. Were you there negotiating the 2016 contract?
Yes.
What royalty rate you would have asked for?
So that is precisely what I'm answering.
Okay.
We are currently working on a new PSA. We, as a collective, not the individual Jagdeo, but as a collective, I told you that there are 3 variables that we are utilizing to see how that will govern the new PSA. The first has to do with the company's legitimate expectation that if they invest money, they should get a decent return on their investment. 2, leaving in the new PSA enough incentives to accelerate exploration and production. And 3, a greater share of the benefits for the government. So what we're currently working on, the discussion paper that would have to be completed soon as part of the auction that we launch later this month.
Uncle, everything he said there had nothing to do with my question. All I asked him, if he was sitting in Trotman's chair, what royalty he would have gotten for Guyana. He went on to talk about future contracts. You heard, I even stopped him and reminded him that is not the question I asked, Mr. Jagdeo. He roamed and rambled all over the place and completely ignored yet another simple question, Uncle. This is the contract that Jagdeo and the entire PPP cuss out and call it the worst crime ever against this country. Yet when he is asked what he would have get for Guyana for the royalty, he avoided the question completely and trying to stray us away. Am I still being rude, Uncle? Am I still disrespectful, Auntie? Is this how some people believe that Jagdeo mash up Glenn Lall on his own program? Come on. Come on. When a national leader like Bharat Jagdeo can deliberately shy away, run all over the place on what he would have done if he was sitting in Glenn Lall, or he exposed himself. Man, let me repeat what I said there. When a national leader like Bharat Jagdeo can deliberately shy away, run all over the place on what he would have done if he was sitting in Glenn Lall's place, or expose himself who he really is or who he really working for. Uncle, you really believe that you would have gotten a better deal had he been in Trotman's seat? Bernard? You really believe he would have signed a better deal? Hmm? No.
Not at all.
And I am saying that had Jagdeo negotiated that contract, Guyana would have been worse off. He would have settled and accepted that same 1% the PPP negotiated in the 1999 agreement with ExxonMobil. Nothing. I mean absolutely nothing more we would have gotten, and nothing would have changed. Just like what is happening now. He's hiding, he's running and ducking from any questions posed to him about the Exxon contract. Like when you raise these things with him, Bernard, you see a different face, color in Jagdeo, questioning him about oil. If you hadn't listened, Uncle, to the one-on-one carefully with Jagdeo and myself, I suggest you go online and see it for yourself. He did not answer honestly and directly any of my questions I posed to him. What he didn't fabricate, he'd answer wrong. Listen another piece of Tuesday night, the same interview I had with him, and judge for yourself. You have another piece of tape. Play it for me, please.
If I say royalty, well, you should have had a 5% royalty tonight. I'm preempting the discussion, the collective discussion that the cabinet would have. But that is a discussion that has to be had and settled before the end of the year.
Thank you, sir. My question was, what royalty rate you would have asked for negotiating the 2016 contract?
Yeah.
I didn't get an answer for that.
No. I'm
What's-
just telling you
what-
what
Let's
yeah.
move on. Let's move on.
Sure.
I want to tell him this, Uncle. No day or night, deception or lies can win over truth.
Hell yeah.
There is a quote that fits his head perfectly. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Not all the people all of the time, Mr. Jagdeo. A great ex-president words that. A man named Abraham Lincoln. He said those words. And I never forget it. People get confused with it, but I never forget it. You guys remember the oil law? They rushed through during Christmas holiday in Parliament? It was on the 29th of December. You remember come out Christmas Day and talk about it? Mm-hmm. Yes. 29th of December, when everybody was having a good time, partying, preparing for Old Year's Night party. It's a normal thing with the PPP, you know, Bernard. Very important laws.
Secret.
Yes. Look back when it was passed. Look at the events that was taking place, and you will see how they distract you and nail you to the coffin, so they can run their plots and schemes like thieves in the night with the laws. Every oil country has laws, has oil laws with specific clause to jail officials, government officials who thief or misuse the country oil money. These chaps pass one. The PPP pass one. One ILA that does not have any such clause to jail Jagdeo, Ashley Singh, or anybody else if they thief or misuse the oil money. However, Uncle, they make sure they put in a provision to jail anybody who talk about who thief the oil money. Yes. They will jail the people who let the cat out the bag, but not the people who walk away with the bag. You gotta love these guys, eh?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you gotta love them. Glenn Lall is still rude, eh? Huh? And disrespectful for talking these things. Oh, me rude, eh, Bernard? Oh, Auntie, I'm rude, I'm disrespectful. Yes, for talking these things. And when this was pointed out to Ashley Singh, before they signed the bill into law, he tell the reporters, we already got a lot of jail people if they thief. like them rest of countries were put in the special class to jail the people who thief the oil money, don't have laws to jail thieves. That's what he's trying to tell us. These guys, Ashley Singh and Bharat Jagdeo and Winston Brassington. I love you people. I love you people. I went to India twice, Bernard. And I didn't go with my wife and daughter to bathe in the sacred Ganges River. But I am now considering going back to do so. I need all the spiritual cleansing I can get to help me cleanse this country of its uncleanliness. Let's go back and end with that 2% royalty. Please don't forget, you got to follow me closely. 4 months ago, in both press conferences, Jagdeo was asked about this 2% royalty. You heard both answers he gave. 2 weeks ago, Christopher Ram broke the story in Kaicho News that the 2% royalty was renegotiated by the Granger administration. There was no response, no answer, no reaction from the government or from Bharat Jagdeo. Last Tuesday, on my program, royalty featured prominently again, and you also heard what he had to say just now. 2 days ago, Christopher Ram were able to put his hand on the supporting documents that confirm the royalty terms was indeed amended or changed in 2019. That story with the amended document was published in all the newspapers for the entire world to see, Uncle. It was only when this document was exposed 2 days ago that the government reacted. Jagdeo reacted using the Ministry of Natural Resources to put out a statement. You hear that? I am so sickened, ashamed, disgusted to tell you what his statement said. Wednesday at 7:20 p.m., I will further expose these politicians we have in this country who's supposed to be looking out for us. Yes, Wednesday. Before I take a few phone calls, let me tell you what the AFC have since said after that exposure through a man named David Patterson. He said they were unaware of the changes made by the ex-president, and as such, having seen the changes now being made public, they believe, hear that? They believe that a renegotiation should take effect. You hear that? When AFC see it, they said they didn't hear and they didn't know. But when they see it, they say, now they're saying a renegotiation should take effect. I didn't hear a single word from the new leader of the PNC as yet, Aubrey Norton. What would be his position with this new document being made public? I didn't hear anything. He haven't said anything. But let me tell you a little piece tonight of what the Jagdeo statement said. After they would have seen and learned about the changes the Granger administration made in public, hear what I say, Uncle. Them see the success the coalition government did with the 2% royalty in 2019. But they are not touching the contract.
Really?
You hear that? Them see the success David Granger made in that 2% royalty in 2019, but they are not going to touch the contract. I will go into details on Wednesday. Please don't forget to join me. I think enough have been said tonight on that subject matter. Josh, before I take a call, let me just tell them this. During that interview last Tuesday with Jagdeo, Uncle, he denied that the Wales Gas to Shore project doesn't have private investors. And he went on to accuse me of being a rumor mill. He told me I was a liar. He called the paper, I'll start a name. Well, I'll play him and I will show you the advertisement online that the government put out for private investors into that project. I don't know if you guys noticed. Jagdeo came prepared to put me in a tit for tat, abuse down, a cost down interview he wanted. But I didn't fall for that. I keep moving on. Sunday, I exposed his deceitfulness in the Kaicho News and printed the advertisements that they placed in the newspapers looking for private investors, private partners in the Gas to Shore project, Uncle, that he cussed me down and abused me down about on my program. Yes. He called me rumor mill. He said the newspaper should apologize and everything. I have his words. I'm going to play it for you guys. Play that tape. Let them hear him. Private people are being pushed into this project.
Private people are pushed?
Private.
Like what?
Private.
Like
You're-
pushed into what?
Well, the gas plant.
Like how?
You,
What
have
do you mean?
you guys have advertised for private investors into the gas plant.
No, man.
Yes?
What do you advertise to private investors at the gas? Where did you get that from?
Well,
Some rumor mill again.
No.
Just like how you say I own the Marriott. Up to a couple
So-
days ago, you had that in a newspaper
So
that I own the Marriott.
I didn't say you own the Marriott. I
I
would
said
like.
I put private people into the Marriott to
Ex-
secretly.
yes, I said
but
that.
the government own 100% of it.
No.
Oh God, it always owned
No.
100%. So
The
that was a
private.
lie.
The state. No, sir.
It was
no,
a
sir.
lie, and
You have-
anyhow. Which
you-
private?
You have
What do you mean?
You have installed, as you raised the Marriott. I didn't want that, but you have installed private investors into the Marriott
When
in its inception.
there's never been a private investor.
Republic Bank was who?
privatized. Republic Bank is not a private investor, man. They've supplied their loan.
No, sir. No, sir.
They
Don't do me
supply.
that.
They don't have
Don't do me
equity.
that.
There's a
They had
difference
equity.
between. They not no. They have Glenn Lall. There
Can
is
we-
something called equity, and there are loans. Republic Bank finance through loans. They don't have equity. Equity is ownership. That is the difference between. It's hard to explain financial issues to you because there are massive difference between equity. The government of Guyana has always owned 100% of the Marriott, period. We tried to privatize it, it did not work. We tried to privatize
The
it.
Marriott was a PPP project.
Yeah,
Private-public partnership project, sir.
It was not. It's not. No, here now. It's
Sir, it was done under your presidency,
and
it was a
and
private
we sought
public
private.
partnership.
No. We sought private interests, and we never got the private interest.
Sir, we carried a million story on that thing.
Well, and all were wrong.
No.
That's why Brassington sued you.
You
and
never.
and every time you're winning all the cases.
Brassington never sued me on Marriott.
Yeah, Brassington sued you. How many cases Brassington won?
19.
19 he won
So
already.
he wins 7. And if you win the rest, that's fine. Man.
How much
Take
money
it.
you had to pay him so far?
I said what I had to say, and I'm telling
But
you.
that's the problem.
And I'm saying it
because
tonight.
you say what you got to say,
No.
whether it's true or not.
Because it's true.
All right, but go back to the. Let's
the
go
Marriott,
back.
The Marriott was
Let's
a
go
private
back.
public
Let's
partnership.
go back. To
Are
it
you
because-
saying that the Barbies Bridge is not a public-private partnership too?
Yes, but.
Are you saying that too?
No, the Berbice Bridge is a public-private partnership.
The Marriott is
The
one.
Marriott is not.
And the gas plant you're heading into there is another one.
No. Oh,
Let's hope.
God. No.
Let's
All
wait
right,
and see.
okay.
Let's wait
But
and see.
where did you see us advertise for whom to go there?
I saw in some one. Let's just
No,
move
no,
on,
no.
sir.
You're lying there again because we just opened a bid today to build the gas, the power plant, and the NGL facility, and it's all owned by the government of Guyana. So I don't know where you got this from. It's one of these GAF sections. And then you reported it. It's going to be front page headline. Private ownership of the gas power plant. And you will never retract it when you find out it's not true.
All right, let's
But that's a lie.
let's go on. Uncle and Auntie, tonight is my night. Jagdeo is saying it's a totally government-owned project. And that is the trick and stunt he has been pulling on Guyanese people on all these projects. Uncle, if you ask Gafoor to come and build a factory and manage a factory, he building it for free. You may own the factory in your name, but are you paying Gafoor for build the factory? Of course you're paying Gafoor to build the factory. And that is the trick and the stunt they're playing on these projects. Who is making the money on them? Who the Barbies Bridge making money to pay? Who the Marriott Hotel was making money to pay? And who the Gas to Shore project will be making money to pay? Jagdeo's best friend owned the biggest share in the Barbies Bridge. The Marriott Hotel, until now we don't know who are the secret players installed through the Republic Bank with a consortium. That is the word, consortium. Yes, we will die and we will never know that. It's the same game he coming back all over again with his Gas to Shore project. You guys remember the press briefing. The press briefing he had when he tell us not to record it. Since then, he has never held a press conference on this project to show us any proof whatsoever that this project will benefit Guyana. And not only Glenn Lall, but several other persons have been demanding that he make every piece of this contract public. Is he going to do that? Or is another best friend going to be installed in that project again? I'm just asking. Is Guyana going to bear an added $2 billion American dollars on our backs with this project, and private people will reap the benefits again? I am just asking. Can you please put up that that advertisement the ministry put in? Put it up online, let the people see it. It's there. That's the advertisement they put out. And we carried that story. I wasn't going to get into a tit for tat with him on my Tuesday night program. But because he talked about the Marriott, I pitched that in. And you guys would have noticed I had two documents in my hand. And although I read it to him, he was trying to deny it. And he denied it, although I read it to him. You guys remember? Yeah. The same ad they put out, let me read part of what they say. What he said just now, no private investors involved in the Jagdeo project. Well, I'll read this to you, Uncle. I'll read a part of it. The government of Guyana invites expressions of interest from interested parties for 1. Joint participation with the government of Guyana and the oil companies in designing or utilizing outputs from a natural gas facility plant and the related facilities. You hear that? 2. Design, construction, and financing of a power plant. Let me go back this thing carefully, man. Listen to me, auntie and uncle. 2. Design, construction, and financing of a power plant fueled by natural gas, where the power will be delivered into GPL grid. And the ad went on. It's on the screen there. It's on the screen there. With more other interest from the private participants. You know, one American company said to me today, they are ready and willing to supply 200 megawatt solar electricity at 6 cents per kilowatt. All they need is to sit down with Jagdeo or the government and work out the details. Let's see what he will do from here. Let's see. Remember, he challenged me? He said 3 weeks, get people to supply electricity to Guyana. Yeah. Well, this is one that is really willing to put 200 megawatt. Guyana doesn't have to put no money, invest nothing, and they will sell us at 6 cents. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you are selling 15.
Yes. And you can sell for 15 after then. I am betting my last dollar that this gas plant will come on stream and your light bills will be the same. Any bets? The plant will be up and running. Listen to me carefully. Mark my words, uncle and auntie. The plant, this gas plant will be up and running. And it will only fill the pockets of the oil companies and the secret private investors that they are talking about, in which they're saying a consortium is the same consortium word they use with Republic Bank. They said Republic Bank was asked. I have Jagdeo on record saying that Republic Bank was tasked with putting together a consortium to invest in the Marriott Hotel. And he watched me in my face and tell me that the hotel didn't have private investors inside. With that, I even tell him that the coalition government kicked out the private investors through the bank because they could not meet with the private investors. The bank front for the private investors, he slipped in there. With that, I say namaste.